Now, massive political news, and it's the Mail on Sunday's exclusive. Angela Rayner's £1 million war chest to kick out Keir. The former Deputy Prime Minister has secured a war chest of more than £1 million to fund her bid to succeed Sir Keir Starmer, her allies have claimed. Amid growing expectations that Sir Keir will soon face a challenge to his leadership, the former Deputy PM has moved her stealth operation up a gear, with sources also saying she started promising cabinet jobs to her supporters. Here's a voice note from Perry.
Morning, Mark. Your comment about her policies being absolutely terrible, but she will be interested. Well, I'm afraid that being interested ain't going to help me pay my bills. You know, and I know she come from humble beginnings. You know, she lived in a council house. She was a carer, which is fair enough. But then when she became an MP, so she went from living in a council house to being a carer to becoming an MP and then going out and buying houses for £800,000. So, you know, how she managed to do that? You know, if she hasn't been lying in her own pockets.
Well, Perry, you're absolutely right about that. And you're right to pick me up on it, not to be flippant, to say, oh, she's a character, she'd be entertaining. Life wouldn't be boring under her premiership. You're right to point out that it's not going to help you or my viewers and listeners pay their bills. And you're right to point out that given that she would stand on a more left-wing platform than Starmer, things would become worse for all of us. Inflation would go up because she would be giving bumper inflation-busting pay rises to the public sector. She'd be in the pocket of the unions, who are no doubt behind some of this £1 million that she's amassed. She would also open the borders. She would double down on net zero. So, Perry, you're right. Yes, she'd be entertaining, but it would be no laughing matter for the country. Now, here's another voice note from Hev.
Good morning, Mark. Hev from Kent. I totally agree with you. The ginger growler, I reckon she would be a lot better than what we've got already. I thought that Starmer, if he thinks he's going to lose number 10, he will call a general election. I don't suppose he wants to be ousted and anybody else move into his shoes. But I honestly do believe that, especially like Ange, you know, goes along with what the big boss says. You know, people do, but if they get that power, how will things change? Because she's different to most of them, isn't she? You know, she knows more about the real world. So if there is a change in number 10 before an election, I would go with Ange. I really would.
That's really interesting what you said, Hev, and you disagree with Perry, and that's what this show is all about. What I would say is I think the policies will be worse because she's more left-wing than Starmer. And by the way, you cannot be elected by the Labour Party unless you're more left-wing because of those backbenchers who wouldn't even allow the government to trim the welfare budget for disabled people, right? So they're radically left-wing, those backbenchers. And then you've got the party membership who are crazy woke, half of whom are thinking of moving over to the Greens. That's the level of leftist ideology, you know, to which they're subscribed. So the policies will be horrible, but what I will say that backs you up, Hev, is that she's a better politician than Starmer. She's got something about her. She does have personality. She's got spunk. She's got a backstory to die for a so-called progressive prime minister. And life would be very colourful. And so that's the million-dollar question, and I want you guys to square this circle for me, which is we're stuck with this Labour government for 3 years, most likely, unless there's an economic crash or something. But we've got this government for 3 years. Would Angela Rayner be better than Starmer? Would she be the least worst option? Let me know, because I need your help with this. 03444991000. Piers Pottinger, what do you think?
Well, she's a very good communicator. She's got a bit of political nous. She's savvy. She's popular as a person. She has personal charm. She's got a sense of humour. Political journalists of all persuasion like her. People like her, even if they disagree with her. But when it comes to intellectual ability and the ability to govern this country, I would really question her ability there, because all she'll do is tax and spend even more. She is an absolute darling of the trade union movement. She is a dyed-in-the-wool left-wing socialist who doesn't simply understand the one key thing about socialism: it never works. It never has done,
and those union,
it never will.
Those union backers who may well be behind this cash pile of £1 million will be wanting their pound of flesh if she gets into number 10.
Yeah, of course. The unions will be rubbing their hands with glee. There will be even more dreadful. Don't forget her Employment Rights Act, which was one of many U-turns by Starmer, who watered it down, was really quite radical and could have done even more harm than it is already going to do to
and
British
that legislation would return with a vengeance if she gets into number 10.
She'd start making the unions even more powerful. And don't forget, this act anyway is going to make them more powerful, putting them in, obliging every company to allow the unions to come in and talk to their staff. Terrifying thought. And don't forget also that she believes in more government interference in our lives, more control of everything we do, more surveillance. It would be more like a communist country. And unfortunately, she is, on the face of it, an attractive personality, but underneath it, she's a dyed-in-the-wool socialist and therefore extremely dangerous to the well-being of everyone in this country.
Would Angela Rayner be a better Prime Minister than Keir Starmer? This is a political exclusive on the front page of the Mail on Sunday. In many ways, this is a more important story, producer Phil, than Andrew. It actually matters more than the Prince Andrew story, which is tittle-tattle and gossip. Angela Rayner's £1 million war chest to kick out Keir. Now, the reason why that matters is because this is a woman, she's also disgraced, by the way, and still owes the Treasury £40,000 for her stamp duty, but she could become our next Prime Minister, and therefore what she does in power if she unseats Starmer is going to affect our lives significantly. I'm betwixt and between, right? I'm between a rock and a hard place, because I agree with one individual, a brilliant man who messaged the show earlier, a voice note, and he said that she will make our lives worse because of her failed policies, and he's right, because she'll be more left-wing. But I also, who was that? It was Perry. And then we had Hev, who said that she's got more personality, she's got something about her, she's got some, you know, a little bit of spunk, and therefore that might be an improvement on Starmer. So I need your help with this. Graham's in Doncaster. Good morning, Graham.
Morning, Mark. Firstly, mate, we chatted last Sunday, if you remember.
I do. How could I forget, Graham?
Well, I did tell you 100% that Starmer would block Burnham, didn't I? You did.
Graham, you called it.
Listen, mate, like I told you, pal, he's a dictator. He won't have it. Right, I've rung you, Mark, because I'll tell you what it is, mate. In my area, as you know, my dad's in Doncaster area as an MP. We have Facebook pages, as you know, in areas for different things. On the other day, we have a local Labour councillor. She's a lovely woman, mate. She's done a lot for our area. She's also massive friends with my dad. And I mean massive friends, mate. Massive.
Wow, okay.
The other day, she posted on the Facebook page, on one of our local Facebook pages, you will not be able to contact me through the Labour Party no more. I have cancelled my membership. Mate, let me tell you now, Mark, like I said, mate, she's massive friends with Ed. Massive. Mate, I'm going to tell you now, Mark, now, ring you back when it happens.
Yeah.
And my dad is behind this plot with Rayner. I'm telling you 100%.
So you think you see Angela Rayner and Ed Miliband, the man responsible for our ruinous net zero policies, are going to be like some kind of dream team sort of ticket for power?
Mate, I told you last week regarding Starmer 100%. I'm telling you on this 100%.
Wow. Now, does that mean, Graham, that it's Angela would become Prime Minister and Ed would be her number 2?
I think that's what's happening. It's not hard to see. Listen, you don't have to. I'm only a bricklayer, mate. I'm only a stupid bricklayer. But I'm pretty well educated and I can see what's going on.
Graham, bricklaying is one of the hardest things you can do.
It certainly is, mate. My body's in pieces, but there you go.
Yeah. So that's it. So what you're thinking about here is that the so-called political dream team, Angela Rayner and Ed Miliband, and of course, what would happen, Graham, if there was an election for a new leader of the party? The whole of the left would swoop behind those two.
They'll get behind Angela. They'll get behind Angela, mate.
Yeah.
100% they will.
Now, the next question, Graham, now that you've got your crystal ball out, and can I say I'm very impressed by your crystal ball, can I ask you when this is going to happen? Because I suspect that Labour will lose this by-election in Greater Manchester, and I suspect that there may be a move against Starmer before May. What say you?
100%, mate. Listen again, Mark, I'm not wrong. I've never... 100%, when this happens in February, which they will lose that by-election, mate, they will lose it, that's when they will make their move, because they know they are going to get slaughtered. Our MPs in Doncaster, we have Madhead, we have John Ely, we have Sally Jameson and a little bloke.
Yikes.
They all
What a ragbag. What a motley crew that is.
Well, Doncaster were a big Labour massive area. Last year, we absolutely obliterated them in the local councillors. Absolutely obliterated them. These MPs in Doncaster know their jobs are not like. They have not. Doncaster people will never vote Labour back in. And we are a massive Labour area, mate. Massive. No more, we're not. Nobody trusts this man. We know where he is. He's not a man anyway. I wish people had stopped calling Starmer a man. He's not. I'm a man. That is not a man. He is not fit to be put in the same category as me. I'm sorry, he's not, mate. He's not.
And why do you say that? Why do you challenge the idea that he's a man, Graham? You've worked hard all of your life. You've smashed your body to pieces as a bricklayer. What's the difference between the likes of your good self and Starmer?
He's not got a clue. He doesn't know what real world is. He don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning with me, come to work, picking bricks and blocks up covered in snow and ice, and he's no idea. I'd love to take him to work for the day. I'd love to take him with me for an hour.
And Graham, do you still, even though your body's shot to pieces from years of hard work on construction sites, do you still work?
I have to, mate. I'm 64-year-old, Mark. I have not got no choice but to work till I am pension age. What we're going? I mean, look, I'm lucky, Mark. I've got a good private pension when I get to 67.
Well, which you've worked for, right?
Exactly. Nobody's given me nothing. I've never claimed a penny dole in my life, mate. I've been lucky, Mark. I've worked all my life. I have never had a penny, and it wrecks me in two when I see what's happening.
And Graham, listen, before you go, because I've got to get to Joan now, and then we've got an amazing guest waiting in the wings, but I've just got to ask you, Graham, this is a front page. Davis, when you get a second, can you get me the Sunday Express, please, if you're watching on YouTube? Wait for this, Graham. 6 million workers would be better off on benefits, right? 1 in 4 Brits, Graham, would now be statistically better off if they didn't go to work and stayed at home and drawed benefits. How does that make you feel as a man that gets up in the morning?
I just checked I seen it earlier when you read it out, mate, and I just checked my head, mate. I just checked my head. The country's we need reform. Sorry, mate, we need reforming. If we don't get reforming next time, I fear this for this country, because we'll get Rayner and Madhead. We'll get ready. You think Starmer's bad?
OK, well, listen, Graham, thank you for that, and I salute you for your hard work over many years. Joan, I've only got a few seconds because I've got to get to my next guest, but what do you think about Angela Rayner? Would she be a better Prime Minister than Keir Starmer?
No, the stuff of your worst nightmares, really. She's got a bad memory. She didn't realise she owed £40,000. She didn't build many houses when she was the minister for that. She's ruined the businesses by our workers' rights bill. She's killed off industry in that respect. And she'll be loved to get back to complete her life's work, which is Islamophobia. Blasphemy law by the back door. No way.
Joan, you put it in a brilliant paragraph there, a damning indictment. Joan, call me again soon. We'll chat for longer, but your contribution incredibly valuable. What do you think? Would Angela Rayner be a better or worse Prime Minister than Starmer?